everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is something slightly different. As you know, I turned 27 recently, about 3 weeks ago now, and I wanted to do like a follow-up video um off my vlog because obviously you saw my prep and my celebrations and everything for my 27th birthday, but I wanted to sit down and do something slightly different, and that is I wanted to tell you my 26 things or my 26 lessons I've learned in the last 26 years. Now, buckle up because it's going to be a bit of a long one. I'm probably going to stay here for the rest of the video, well, for all of the video, just so it's more of a casual vibe. You guys can, put on your PJs or whatever, get your hot chocolate, get your popcorn, because we're going to get into it today. Okay, so number one, my first lesson is you can outgrow people you still care about. This is something I feel like I have struggled with for the longest time, and knowing when to let go of people who are close to you has kind of been a it's kind of been a struggle in my life. Like, I feel like in my earlier years, maybe like when I was a teenager, in my early 20s, it's always been just keep people close to you. I come from a family where we don't like to lose people and we don't like to set people free if we need to, whether that's family or friends or acquaintances, whoever it is. But I feel like in the past, especially with my previous relationship, I found it very hard to kind of let go of my ex when I was so kind of attached to him. I'm not going to say in love with, because I think towards the end of my relationship, I really had just fallen out of love with this guy, and it was more just an attachment, and it was more of just keeping someone close to me that I wanted to kind of be around on a daily basis. But I feel like that is something that I have struggled with for a very long time, and now I don't. In a way, I just feel like it doesn't bother me anymore. But that is a lesson I've had to learn in the past 26 years. But now that I'm 27, I will definitely be letting go of people that I feel like need to be let go so that I can grow and so that they can grow. And if you outgrow someone that you've known for a very long time, it's just what happens, to be fair. I feel like that is life, and that is just everyone getting older, different paths, different ideas, different future plans and everything. If you outgrow someone, it's very natural and it's upsetting, but it's just what happens, and we have to learn to accept it as humans, that is what happens when you get older. Number two, closure doesn't come from the other person. It comes from when you decide that you're done. That kind of done feeling, it might take a while to come, but when it does, then you're done. You are so over that situation. You are so over putting up with this specific person or the specific situation. Like, if it's with someone you've been in a relationship with, or if you were in a situationship or anything like that, then I feel like you have to keep going back to them no matter how many times it breaks you. Sometimes one breakup isn't enough, and you have to kind of just keep going back if you need to until you are just so over it. It's not the most healthy situation. It's literally quite toxic if you think about it. But sometimes you just need to go through that. It's not usually just a one and done, especially if you're so in love with that person and you want to make it work. First of all, you should be proud of trying to make it work if you were the one that tried to make it work. Um, but yeah, I feel like if you have to keep going and you need that closure when it's like your a hundredth time of trying and failing, then that is completely fine and it's completely natural to your journey and what you have to go through to be able to move on, move forward, and grow past it. Number three, confidence isn't about how you look, it's about what you tolerate. As someone who has been more or less insecure in their lives, I feel like I have been very insecure, especially like I don't know how to explain it. Like I've been insecure in my looks because I've been like overweight my whole life and struggled with my weight my whole life. And I still feel like sometimes it's a bit hard for me to talk about. Like the words just don't come out. But let's get you closer. But yeah, it's about what you tolerate. I mean, from my personal experience, I feel like because I've been insecure, I've tolerated more, and now that I'm not tolerating more, my confidence has shot up. I want to just keep around the most special people in my life and not just people that are kind of filler people, just so that I have more people in my life. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the more you tolerate, the more it takes away from you and your confidence declines. It's kind of a knock on effect if you think about it. And it's just not what we're here for. We're here to live happier lives. We're here to enjoy our lives. I know it can be hard, but it can be the thing that you make it to be as well. If you don't have that confidence to not tolerate bullshit, then it does break you down. And once you learn that lesson, which I have done many times, once you've learnt that lesson, then things just become easier after that hard part of letting someone go or saying that you won't tolerate this specific thing anymore, specific person. Um and then yeah, I mean, and then you get to this point and like you try new things and you try new makeup, you start a business, you might even get into another relationship. Like there's always something else to look forward to once you decide you don't want to tolerate a situation that you're in. We've moved over here. It was not comfortable on my stomach for that long. Number five is you can be loved and still treated wrong. This I feel like I never really understood until my last relationship. I thought the way that he treated me was because of the way that he loved and the fact that he loved me, but it wasn't really like that. I mean, people love in different ways. People see love differently. People have seen their parents love differently, or their peers, or friends, or whatever. So I feel like everyone has their own idea of what love is and how you should treat someone when you're in love. So obviously, I'm not making excuses for people who love and domestically or abuse their partners in the name of love. Obviously, I'm not saying things like that. But the way someone treats another person when they're in love with that person, it might not be the same way that you perceive love and how you want to be treated when you're in love, or how you treat that other person when you're in love. It might not match. And sometimes if the other person or if your partner doesn't love you the way you want to be loved, but only treats you in the way they know how to treat you when they're in love with you, it can be different. And it's not always something that we feel. If that love isn't a match for how you treat that person when you're in love, then there's a clash, then there's without kind of giving details of my past relationship, what I can see, or now that I reflect on it, this person did love me and I loved them. They thought love looked different to how I've seen love. My parents are very much a romantic couple. They've been together almost 30 years this year, touch wood. His parents are together and they've been together over 30 years, but they don't have that romantic feel to their partnership the way that my parents are. My parents are very much emotional people. His parents were very business minded, so everything was logical when it came to their love. So, how I was treated in that relationship and how he sees love is logical, and mine was very much emotional. And not that either things were wrong, it just didn't work. And when that doesn't work, you can love each other, yes. You can say that you love each other, which is obviously a very good thing. But how you show it and how another person receives it can be very different. Number six, healing is actually quite boring and repetitive. Obviously, it's quite painful as well. I'm going to put some element of pain in there as well, depending on how much it really that situation or person really affected you. But yeah, I mean, I would say healing is quite boring because you kind of strip away when you go through a breakup or when you're grieving or something, that person, that situation has been taken away from you. And there's always going to be that kind of missing element whilst you're healing until you get to a point where you have healed and you have moved on. But that's when you start filling your cup again. And although in that situation you might feel like that person has emptied you or that situation has really taken away the fun parts of yourself or just the more happier parts of yourself, you're kind of left with an empty cup, especially when you're going through a breakup and especially a painful one. And then as you're healing, you kind of have to do the same kind of boring things or repetitive things over and over again, just so that your cup can be filled again. Every day feels different when you're healing. Every day is a new chance to heal. You can break down on certain days and you can also feel like you're on cloud nine. But you kind of have to just go through those days until you're at a point where you can feel and say that you're fully healed. Oh, this is number six. The last one was number five, I think. Number six is discipline over motivation every single time. You have to be so disciplined. Obviously, I'm still teaching myself that. I'm still getting to a point where consistency is king, but it is driven by discipline and not motivation. I think motivation is so temporary and it's not the thing that gets you to where you want to be. You can have the motivation to start, but it won't be the motivation that keeps you going. It'll be your discipline. You have to follow the plan and not your mood, and that is something I'm doing today. That is something I'm doing today. So I'm going to have to show a little bit more discipline today and just go and do my steps because I'm so putting that off today. But I'll do it. I'll do it later. Okay. You have to just force yourself to go do your workout, whatever it is that you need discipline in. You just have to get up and go, no matter how hard and how much you don't want to do it. You just go. Like you have to imagine someone picking you up and basically throwing you at what you need to do. Like you just can't rely on motivation. It's such a fad or it's such a gimmick. Motivation is a seriously overused word, and not a lot of people understand that there's no permanence behind the word motivation. It's just something that kind of gives you that kickstart, but not necessarily gets you to the end. You do not need to explain yourself, even though you think you might do. I can be a bit of an over explainer. I get that from my mum. Thank you, teens. Yeah, we tend to, even when we're like like telling a white lie, telling the truth, someone can ask us, "How are you?" And we'll be like, XYZ had happened, and they didn't ask. Sometimes it's a little bit embarrassing, and you're like, "Oh shit, why did I?" She only asked, she basically only said hi to me. Why did I tell her that? I don't know. I fell down the stairs yesterday. Like obviously I didn't, but sometimes you look back on it and you're like, did I need to say that? No, I think it's a comfort thing, or I think it's a way of your brain to kind of cry out for some sort of companionship sometimes, some sort of release, and just you want to vent to someone even though they haven't asked for it and they haven't necessarily said that you're safe with them to do that. You might feel like you're safe with them in that moment, but usually, especially if it's like a distant relative or something, like usually they haven't asked for your life story. And usually you should keep some things to yourself. That is something I am still learning actually. Um Even when I do these videos, I feel like I just ramble and I waffle a little bit, but at the end of the day, the more detail that I give to you guys, or the more detail I give to the internet, I do kind of look back on it and I'm like, it's the internet. They shouldn't know that much about me. Which is why I keep my family out of all of this. But yeah, I need to stop over explaining. Number 8, being nice will cost you more than being honest. I feel like this is so true with me and my best friend. We had a falling out a couple of years ago, and I basically didn't speak to her for a whole year. We did reconnect, but obviously, which is why she's my best friend. Um, but when just before we had a falling out, I feel like I wasn't honest. She wasn't honest. We were kind of at a surface level of friendship where we were just being nice to each other. We wanted to give, give, give. Um, and it just didn't work until we kind of reconnected and we said that the base of our friendship this time will be honesty and not niceness. I feel like niceness can only get you so far. And if anything, if you're from London and you're being nice, there's always a catch. Like, you'll always think, why is this person being nice to me? Or if anything, like a person from London usually isn't very nice anyway. We're quite miserable people. We're quite we're quite grumpy, unhappy people, and we don't have many manners. So it's very rare that you come across someone from London with a good set of manners and some niceness. But yeah, I feel like the basis of all relationship should be honesty and communication. If you're being nice to someone, if you're saying yes to a situation and you really want to say no, that only harms you in the future. It will only ever affect you and not the other person. Um, it's not healthy being overly nice, and like I said, it will only affect you. Um, in very, very negative ways. The next one, and this is something I am so heavy on, and it is not everyone deserves access to you, whether they know you or not. I feel like I do this a lot with my family. I don't get along with everyone in my family. I have a lot of conflicting views, and I just I just have always felt like the black sheep in my family. I don't allow access to people that I don't get along with. That is just something, or even just past people or people that I don't want to be associated with, really. I mean, there's been people I know where they just don't align with me, my goals, my future, my ideologies, my anything. There's things about me that just don't match with that other person, and we just don't vibe. And I think that's completely natural, and it's okay whether it's your family or not, whether it's an acquaintance or not, whether it's a friend or not, whoever, a colleague. If you do not want to be around this person and you have negative energy, negative vibes, just bad associations with this person, you do not have the obligation to keep them near you. And I have kind of ignored that fact in the past, and I just, now that I'm older, I really keep a very, very small circle, and I'm happy with that. And I have a lot of peace with it. Before, I didn't used to have a lot of peace because I used to have way too many negative people in my circle, and they just weren't adding any value to my life. And once I kind of cut ties with them, slowly, I just had more happiness and peace in my life. And now that I'm in my late 20s, that's all I want. That is all I want. I just want peace, happiness, and I want to enjoy my life now. Number 10 is you can start again, even when you feel like it's embarrassing. I have started over many times before. I've been let go from jobs. I have left jobs. I have turned down interviews. I have turned down job offers. I moved to a different uni because I didn't want to stay out. I didn't. Oh, I didn't want to move out of my family home, so I changed unis like basically the day after I had moved to a university that was far away from home. And people had their opinions. They really did, especially my family. They really had. People are entitled to their opinions, but you don't need to listen to these people. If you feel embarrassed, it's basically because you care about other people's opinions, which is a natural human normal thing to do. Um, but in the long run, if you're making a decision for yourself, you have to make sure that you are doing it for you and you only. You are doing it for your own mental well-being, which is something that I have learned to prioritize a lot more over the past maybe 2 3 years. There's nothing more important to me than my mental health, and I will continue looking after my mental health, whether or not this is an embarrassing situation to be in, whether I want to tell someone what situation I'm in or if I want to keep it to myself. Usually, it is a better thing if you do speak to someone else, whether it's a therapist or not. Maybe it could be a family member or a friend. But just know that there's other people out there that might even be in the same situation as you, or they've been in that situation and they know not to judge you for it. And if they are judging you for it, they should not be in your life, or you should not be going to that person for advice. You just need someone you feel safe with. Um, and you can keep starting over and over and over again. People start in their like 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. It doesn't matter what age you are, what situation you're in. If you feel like you need to restart at any point in your life, go do it. Go and do it. And I'm pretty sure you'll either learn from that situation or you'll thrive in that situation. So just do it. Keep going. Number 11, you do not need to have your life figured out by a certain age. I feel like I am in a very messy stage of my life right now. Even though I have peace, I don't necessarily have much stability. And I didn't, to be completely honest with you, now that I've turned 27, I didn't think I would be still living with my family at 27. I thought I would have more savings. I thought I would be a bit more successful. You know, there's just so many things I thought that I would There's just so many things I just thought would be different than it is now. Like, obviously, my reality is slightly different to the way that I thought my life would be at 27, which is fine. Everything's a learning curve, and everything will work when it's supposed to. You kind of have to just trust the universe and trust God, and that's something that I tell myself every day. This is an active lesson that I'm learning right now, is to just calm down and let things happen the way they're supposed to happen, and not control my situation too much. um because the harder that you hold on to that situation, the harder you try and control it, the more it will want to kind of be like released from your grasp as well. I feel like sometimes the harder I try with certain things, the like sometimes it fails more or it gets harder for me. I feel like with an ease of control, my life has become a bit more peaceful. So, yeah, just stop trying to control things as much as you can. And if you're not in a place where you thought you would be at the age you are, it's just meant for you in a different era of your life. It's just meant for you in a different age, or maybe something's better, that maybe there's something better out there for you. You just don't know. You have to just keep your trust in God and the universe, and everything's going to work out. Number 12, money goes quickly when you're trying to fill emotional gaps. Okay, this is quite a big one for me actually, because I remember when I went through my breakup last year, I had gotten a well-paying job around the same time or just a couple weeks after, and trust me, I did a lot of retail therapy. I didn't go crazy with like the prices of things, but I bought a lot of stuff. I bought so much more makeup. I bought tons of clothes. I bought Coach bags. I mean, it was for my sister's birthday, but I didn't also have to buy myself one if I knew I couldn't afford it. But I did. But I did buy it, and it was on my it was on my vision board for last year. So I was like, why not? But anyways, yeah, retail therapy only works for a certain amount of time, especially if you're trying to fill an emotional gap. It doesn't heal you, and I thought retail therapy does. It's therapy. No, 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 no. Because I feel like you just kind of transfer your feelings in a breakup or a bad situation, and you transfer it to retail therapy, and it becomes a really negative obsession that needs control, and it needs some serious, if you need if you need someone to supervise your spending habits, then you know you have a problem. But yeah, usually when there's a problem like that, it is associated with an emotional thing that you're going through. And like I said, you just try and do some therapy with an actual therapist than swiping your or like tapping your debit card on a load of card machines, because that is just not as effective as you think it would. Number 13, your environment affects you more than you realize. You have to surround yourself with the best people for you at all times. Like I said, I am not afraid to keep my circle small anymore, because I have the best people in it. I have people that support me, love me, um, push me, all of it. They just support my dreams. They support me through and through, especially my best friend, that she watches all my YouTube videos. She takes the time. We just take time for each other to just do things for each other. My family are super supportive. They love the fact that I'm starting YouTube again. They loved my YouTube back in the day when I was doing it 10 years ago. And I have another friend who another best friend. I call them my best friends because they really are my best friends. There's two of them. They're basically an extension of my family. Um, My other best friend, she's just more on a family kind of basis with me. She's just someone I can go and talk to when I need to. She's less in the social media side of things and more, she keeps me human and she keeps me grounded when I feel like my head's gone too high or I'm getting too far into my social media again. I can just speak to her and she's just the best advisor, and we just like, my soul just is so peaceful around her. I just love her so much. We've been friends for 11 years now, and I miss her. She's in India right now. Oh, anyways, there's a thing, right, where I need to stop doing that. There's a there's a saying that you're the average of the 10 people around you or the 5 people around you or something like that. And it's very, very true. You become like your environment. So if your environment is chaotic, you're chaotic. If your environment is focused and driven, then you're focused and driven. If your environment is working towards something big, then you might start working towards something big because you're inspired by them, and you can teach them and learn from them and and teach other people behind you or new people that come into your life. But it is so important to have a circle and a group of people that are on the same wavelength as you, especially when you're looking to be in a relationship. Your partner has to support you and be your biggest cheerleader, no matter what you're doing. And if you do not have that, if you have someone that belittles you and makes you quit everything you've worked towards, they're not right for you. You can be doing your best, but still need to do better. I'm not a person that has the ability to kind of push themselves. Like I said, like the harder I try, sometimes it just doesn't work out and it fails a little bit. Um, but my best isn't necessarily the same as someone else's best. When you have more, when you have a little bit more to do and you're just kind of doing things in your comfort zone, and you know you can push yourself more and you know there's more outside that box, you know you still need to be doing better. That's also okay. It's not a sign that you're failing either. It's not a sign that you need to quit everything and start again. If you do need to start again, then that's something you need to evaluate as well. But if you feel like you're doing your best and you know you could be doing better and you've seen that there's better out there, then start working towards that as well. Start thinking about how you can improve yourself and improve what you're doing. Um, and this is good if you do this on a quarterly basis, on a yearly basis, if you feel like you're just doing the bare minimum and you feel like that's your best, you know there's more out there and there's more you can do to have better and do better. Number 15 is growth is boring until it becomes peaceful. I feel like this is so, so true. Unless you're going through like the same situation with someone else and they know exactly the timings and everything of your growth and they're going through the exact same thing, it is so, so, so lonely because you know that there's other people around you that aren't going through the same thing. They don't know what you're feeling in that moment. Only you know. It's so hard to go through something so painful and alone. And that is a very, very solo journey you have to go through. But once you get through to the other side, just wait, just wait, because there's nothing more blissful than going through a healing journey and getting through to the peaceful stage right at the end. You have to go through it. You, no matter how long it goes, no matter how long it takes you to get to the other side, you just have to keep going. You have to have your crying days, you have to have your meltdowns, you have to cry yourself to bed, you have to have your happy days, and sometimes your happy days will feel like the end, but Just wait, because healing is a roller coaster, and I am sorry to tell you, you just have to go through those days, those weeks, those months, those years, just to get to the point where I'm at now, where I am so peaceful. And to tell you the truth, I saw my ex yesterday, like just literally driving near me, and it was not the first time, but I would say I had a very confirmed feeling that I am so, so over this guy. I'm so over the relationship, and I'm so happy that I'm in this place now where I feel like I'm in eternal peace now. And I just, I'm so grateful that I managed to get through it, no matter how long it took me. It took me kind of half the time of the relationship to kind of get over it, because I was getting over it throughout the relationship as well. Um, but now that I've been through this solo journey, I'm so proud of myself. I am so proud of not going in a way that was harmful to myself. I'm glad I never took drugs. I'm glad I didn't go and do very stupid things where my my self-respect had been jeopardized. It didn't go that way. Like, I started Eminence. I really like started going to the gym more. um I look after myself more. I've done it in such a healthy way that I feel like if I were to go through this again, God forbid, because it is a painful journey, I know for a fact that I can get through to the other side. And even though it's alone, it's something that, like I said, I'm very proud of myself for going through, really, and doing it all myself and getting to this point. Number 16, you don't actually want chaos, so you're just used to it. Because you don't know the feeling of peace and calm, you choose chaos because you're just used to that situation, which is probably why, if you think about it, maybe you date the same kind of people, or you surround yourself with the same kind of people. They're always putting you through something that stresses you out. They're always doing something to jeopardize any sort of peace in your life and bring chaos to it. And the reason why you stay in it so long is because you're used to it, not necessarily because you want that situation, not necessarily like you want that chaos. It's just something you're choosing out of familiar familiarity.
Stop it. Get some help.
Oh my god, I can't say that word, but you know what I'm saying. um just because you're used to something doesn't mean it's good for you. So if you feel like you are choosing chaos over and over and over again, it's your one sign to just step back, be with yourself for a bit, and let go. Some people don't just misunderstand you, they just don't value you. Even though you value that other person and you feel like there's a person that's not listening to me, or they're not understanding where I'm coming from, or they don't care for my opinions, it's usually because they just don't value you. They just don't value you. And that is a hard truth. That is a very, very hard truth, especially if you do care for that person and if you do value them. If they don't value you, they do not have a place in your life. So it's just best to move on from that situation and that person, so that you can find people who do value you, and they do want to fight for you and your friendship and your love and your relationship and your, there's people out there that will align with you. You just have to get rid of the ones that don't. Number 18, you do not need to rush healing to be better. Healing takes time, and I feel like it's such a personal thing to go through. It just, like I said, it depends on what you're trying to heal from as well, whether it's a breakup or grief, losing a job. If you have to heal from something, you just have to take your time. It's not something that you can rush, because if you try to rush it, it does kind of bite you in the ass later. And also, you can't push it down. You can't sweep it under the rug. You can't ignore your healing and your and all of that either, because like I said, it will come back to bite you. So you have to face it. You have to go through it. You have to go through the motions and the roller coaster that is healing. And once you do get to that other side, you'll know that you have healed. You have nothing else to heal from, and you can move on with your life and just get over this horrible chapter. Number 19, softness is a strength when it's paired with boundaries. You can live a soft life when you have boundaries. If anything, having boundaries allows you to have a softer life or live a softer life, uh, than like compared to having a soft life and not having boundaries. Not having boundaries really, really can stress you out, and it can put you in horrible situations. It can risk your life. It can risk um your mental capacity, your emotional needs, everything to do with what you need as a person. If you do not have boundaries, you'll be leading a very, very hard life when you don't need to. So if you want a soft life, you need the boundaries to pair with it. Like I said with my best friend, now that our friendship works, it's because of honesty and it's because of our boundaries. If we don't have boundaries, me and her will fall out again. I feel like I'm constantly having to figure out what my boundaries are, because I haven't really grown up in an environment or a family that puts out boundaries or like expresses boundaries to people. We've kind of just accepted people as they are, and if they're in our lives, then we'll try and keep them. And now that I don't want that for myself, it's something that I have to kind of go against, like the way I've been raised. So having boundaries now is important to me, but it's also quite hard for me to set, just because I haven't grown up seeing boundaries being set in front of me. So that's hard. Number 20, you can't build a new life with the same old habits. Obviously, you can have some habits that stay the same, especially if they're positively impacting your life. But you can't have old bad habits, say like, okay, so say if you want to get really healthy, right? And you have to go to the gym, you have to lose weight, which is what I'm trying to do. You have to put yourself in a different situation for a better outcome. And if you're still smoking 20 cigarettes a day, if you're still partying every weekend and getting blackout drunk, if you're still eating junk food every day, if you're still eating a copious amount of sugar every day, if you're not drinking enough water, if these are all the bad habits that you have and you want to have a healthier, fitter body, you can't be doing these things. And it can go for any other situation, any other kind of goal that you have in your life. If you feel like you want a better outcome for your life, you want to live a better lifestyle, you have to be able to quit the same old habits that are keeping you stuck in these circles and keeping you in the same kind of stage of your life. I've added a lot more steps into my routine just this week so that I can kind of push myself more when it comes to my weight loss. That is something that I was kind of skimping on compared to going to the gym, because I do go to the gym 3-4 times a week now, and I have for the past 2-3 months. So I'm still very much on the baby stage of my journey, but I wasn't I haven't really been seeing many results until now. Like just this week, I've started doing 15,000 steps, and while trying to aim for 15,000 steps, minimum of 10, which is something I wasn't doing, and now I am. And I feel like it's made all the difference so far, but you can't have the same old habits if you want a newer, better life. It just doesn't go hand in hand. Going back to consistency, number 21, consistency is what changes your life. and not big moments. You have to have small, steady baby steps that allow you to be consistent in your journey so that over time you can build whatever it is you need to build. Again, going back to weight loss, if you need consistency in the gym, you know that having or going to the gym 3, 4, 5, 6 times a week will build up to bigger glutes, smaller waist, a more muscular back, mental clarity. If it's not a physical, if you're not doing it for physical benefits and you're doing it for mental benefits, you know that these small steps and these small changes and being consistent with that is what is going to change your life. And it's not big moments. Like, you can't just do an hour of hit and lift weights like once and expect for your body to change. You can't just have, if you feel like if you feel like you want to quit sugar and you don't have dessert that same night, you're not going to lose weight just after that one night. You have to consistently do it. You have to keep going until you get to where you want to be, because if you quit and start over like I have done in the past, you just won't get there. And consistency is king. Number 22. When you look back, you will realize that you missed a lot. This, I don't know how to really explain this one, because there's a few things that like kind of connect with this. But for me, it's all the red flags. When you look back, you're like, "Ah, why did I look past that red flag? Why?" Like, oh, now that I look back on it, that was definitely a big red flag, and I completely ignored it. First of all, I do want to say that is a human thing to do. It is not the best thing to do for yourself, obviously, but you have to give yourself grace and not blame yourself, because blaming yourself when you look back and you think, shit, why did I do that? Or why did I look past it? It's not going to benefit you. It's not going to change what happened. It's not going to change your journey. Your journey is the way things are planned out by the universe and God and whatever you believe in. But you can learn from it. From now on, if another guy comes into my life, then I'll know what to look out for, and it's a learning curve. Whilst you're healing, this is number 23. Whilst you're healing, it's okay to not feel like yourself for a little while. I feel like that happens when there's a new stage of your life coming to you, when you're outgrowing something, when you're outgrowing people or a job or whatever you're doing in your life, you're outgrowing it and you feel like you're just not yourself in that moment. You have to let that moment happen and then pass, because it will pass. You can't be frustrated with yourself, and that's when you really have to give yourself grace and allow yourself to just go through the motion of that and go through what you need to go through to be able to move on to your next stage. Usually it's something better. Sometimes it's something that you need to learn as well. It might be a lesson, but if you feel like you are in a space where you're having like an out of body experience, you don't feel like yourself and things aren't aligned and things like that, which I go through quite a lot actually. I feel like this happens to me every few months or every couple of years, where I feel like I need to recoup and journal a bit more and manifest a bit more and be calmer and be more patient with myself, because that's something that I struggle with as well. Like, being patient with myself, I feel like I can get quite frustrated if things aren't really going my way in the way that I planned. You kind of just have to go through that until you get to the other side, and usually it is something for the greater good. Number 24, you do not need to prove your worth in order to be worthy. It is not your job to prove yourself to other people. You are not obliged to prove yourself to other people. You have to work on yourself for yourself. You have to be your better self for yourself. You can't do it for other people. You can't do it for a boyfriend, a husband, a wife. You're sometimes, yeah, you need to do it for your kids. Sometimes you do need to do it for your kids if you feel like you do need to be better. But you don't need to prove yourself for other people. It's not their business, to be fair. It is just not their business. Um yeah, just do it for yourself. Do it for yourself. Number 25, we're almost done. Being alone isn't the worst thing. Being in the wrong place is. Um, I am so happy being alone. I've really learned to enjoy my own time. Now, when you're being alone, like for everyone, it's different because everyone has different thoughts. Everyone has lead different lives. But if you're in the wrong place and you're surrounded by the wrong people, the only person that gets affected is you and your quality of life. Being alone has taught me so much, and that is something that I can talk about in a separate video because I feel like I can ramble about this for the longest time. I can tell you about everything that I've done alone. I mean, I haven't done the most amazing things, but throughout my healing journey, I was alone. I am alone and I enjoy being alone. And if you don't enjoy being alone, I guarantee you won't enjoy being with other people either. If you know what you bring to the table and you enjoy your own time, and if you don't enjoy your own time, what makes you think other people are going to enjoy your company? You have to learn to be alone to enjoy your life. And that is a big lesson that I've learned in my time of living. Number 26, and this is the last one we're going to be talking about today. You're allowed to become a completely different person. If you want to change, you can change. You do not need permission from anyone else. If you want to stay the same, you can stay the same. You do not need you don't need permission from someone else. They are not living your life. The way you live your life is up to you. If you feel like you need to become a different person 100 times throughout your lifetime, go and do that. There is no one that can take control over your life more than you can. And I feel like I've had to completely reinvent myself about 100 times over just in the last 26 years. I was very shy and very much an introvert in high school. Then I grew a little bit and I became more extroverted for college. And I was kind of friends with everyone at that point. Then I lost weight at the end of college and going into uni, my second year of uni. And then I went blonde. I mean, in college, I did red, purple hair. I've done so many things to kind of reinvent myself from the outside. And then as I've gotten older, I've chosen brunette as my hair color again. I just feel like it is the most me. Like I was born with brown hair and I enjoy having brown hair. Sometimes I get bored of it, so I might change myself again this summer and get highlights again. But yeah, like you're always changing. And I feel like that is not something to be ashamed of. It's a human instinct to completely change your life if you're forced to do it or if you choose to do it. We all do change and we all grow up and we mature. Well, most of us, I won't say all of us actually. I mean, most of us women do. um we just kind of like a lot of us learn from our mistakes and we learn to evolve. That's what happens when you kind of go through certain stages of your life. Bad thing, and whoever says it's a bad thing and makes you feel bad for it, then like I said, they do not deserve a place in your life. Create that boundary with them. Express to them that this is what you want. You don't have to explain yourself. As I've said, you don't have to explain yourself. But if you feel like you need to just announce the fact that you're changing yourself in order for a person to leave you the F alone, then go ahead and do that. Because if you're willing to evolve and you're willing to change and you're willing to change your bad behavior or bad habits, that's a win in itself. So count your blessings and count your wins, keep going. And yeah, I'm gonna sign out because that was a long video and my my voice is going. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. It was a slightly deeper one, then obviously my last two videos have been a bit more relaxed, casual, and fun with my vlogging. And I do enjoy my vlogging. So if you want to see more of it, maybe I will do more. I'm not much of a daily vlogger, but if I have something I'm preparing for again, then we'll do another vlog because yeah, I loved it. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it helped you. I hope you take a few of these things into consideration, especially if you're going through something difficult in your life right now. And if you are, then just remember it's only temporary, and there are brighter days coming. There are happy days coming for all of us. It's nearly summer now, so let's just go enjoy some sun. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment below, and I will see you next week. Bye guys.